Hello again, Mr. Elise here again from AQR, and I was just looking at this right here. This is Readability Indices. Basically, it's like this. You have an index. Wait a minute, it doesn't have an index. Well, basically, it just does this. If you read this passage right here, it says the fog index is an index to go ahead and measure readability of a piece of writing. And basically, it's just right here. If it has a fog index of 8, then it has an 8, then an 8th grade reading level. Basically, you need 8 years of education to be able to read this passage and understand it. Anything with like 10 or 11, that's a little bit higher. That's 10th grade reading level and all that fun stuff. And then it goes on. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let me see. So we use this to gauge the readability of a passage, and here's some of the calculation. Usually, if you want to go ahead and do this for a selection reading, you go ahead and get a book. You select a block of text, approximately 100 words, and you can go ahead and go find one at random. Compute the average sentence length of the selected passage divided by the number of words by the number of sentences. And that's basically done right here. Number of words divided by the number of sentences. That will give you the average length of a sentence. Count the words with 3 or more syllables, and that is complex words. Now the only thing that you have some exclusions here, and that's going to be proper nouns such as names and the like, and other words. Let me see. Exclude proper nouns, compound words like cannot. That's not a word that you would count, even though that's only 2 syllables. Words ending in suffixes such as es, ed, or ing, and that results in a third symbol. And terminology familiar to the audience, and hyphenated words. Divide the number of complex words by the total number of words. So you're going to do that right here. Add the average sentence length and the percent of complex words. Multiply the result by 0.04. So we have this formula. Basically, this whole writing right here is right here. The number of words divided by the number of sentences plus 100 times the number of complex words divided by the number of words, and you multiply that by 0.4. And basically it's just to go ahead and find out what the readability of it is. Let me go ahead and turn this page. There we go. So we have this whole thing. This is the Fletch-Kincaid. This is almost the same thing. It has the number of words divided by the number of sentences multiplied by 0.39 plus 11.8 the number of symbols divided by the number of words minus 15.9, and this will do the same thing. You'll have the same kind of readability index, but it takes into more of consideration of syllables rather than complex words, because right here this is considered an accurate indication of readability. The fog index has limitations. For example, some multi-symbolic words are not considered to be complex by general population, but the index does not take this into account. This does. So they're almost the same thing. And so right here, whoa, I really sorry about that. I went ahead. So again, this is 0.39 times the number of words divided by the number of sentences plus 11.8 a number of syllables divided by the number of words minus 15.9. I am really sorry about that. I forgot that it was outside of the thing. Alright, so we have the Declaration of Independence right here. This is the Declaration of Independence, and we have this particular passage, and it wants us to find the fog index and the Fletch-Kincaid grade index of the excerpt from the Declaration of Independence. Now, for the fog index, we need number of words. Well, we need a number of words for both of this. Number of sentences. Okay, let's see. Okay, also number of complex words and number of word. Well, we just need the number of words. Okay, so in this expert we have 111 words. If we actually count the number of words, we're going to get 111. Number of sentences here is 3. Number of complex words is actually 15. Now, if you look at words like self-evident, remember it's self-evident, that's over 4, but it's hyphenized, so we don't count this word. So there's certain words that we wouldn't count. We wouldn't count self-evident, we wouldn't count creator, unalienable would not be counted. Okay, let me see, liberty. Well, these are all the words that we're having here. So we have all those words. We can go through this. Happiness, liberty. Where is liberty? I can't find liberty. Life, liberty. Let's see. Governments. Okay. Are instituted. Okay. That whenever. Government becomes destructive. That's destructive. Let's see. Institute, and you know, I think you got the idea. Government and then foundation. Finally, on such principles and organizing. Its powers and happiness. Finally. All right. So those are some of the complex words there. And that's what we're going to count, but you know what? I already done that. And there's some words that we cannot count, like creator and self-evident. Alright, so let's see. We have all this, so the fog index, to do the fog, we're going to go ahead and take, let me see, 0.4 times 111 divided by 3 plus 100 times 15 divided by 111. And so we're going to go ahead and do that really, really fast. I'll grab my thing. Now, I noticed that a lot of people were doing this. Calculate this before you multiply by 0.4. So let's see. 111 divided by 3 plus 100 times 15 divided by 111. So you have 50 times 0.4. That gives me 20. Let me make sure that that's right. Yeah, 20.2. So that is the fog index. And that's pretty high. That means that you need 20 years of education to be able to read the Declaration of Independence and understand it. That's a lot. Well, let's do it for, let me see, the Fletch-Kincaid. FKGLI. So again, well, this one we still need the number of words, which is 111. We still need the number of sentences, which is 3. We need the number of syllables now in the entire passage, which is equal to, let me see, number of syllables, let's see, we hold these truths, so that's 1 4. Alright, well, that would take a while to do by hand and everything, so that equals to 172, and so that's the number of syllables, and I think that's all we need. So, it's 0.39 times 111 divided by 3, and then we multiply, we go ahead and close the parentheses, plus 1.8 times 172 divided by 111 minus 15.59. Okay, so we do this math right here. Let's go ahead and see this real quick. 0.39. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta show you guys. 0.39 would help if I push the right buttons, divided by 3, and you can put the parentheses because we're not adding these before we do this. We do this and then we do everything else. 11.8 times, let me see, 172 divided by 111, and minus 15.59. That gives me 17.12. Okay, so that's 17.12, but in this scale, according to Flesch-Kincaid, our highest is actually 12, but you know what, that's what it says right here. I'm not sure. Yes. So the highest we can go is the 12th grade, so of course you need more education to understand this completely, and both of them are pointing towards that. You need about 20 on the fog index, so the fog has 20, and the Flesch-Kincaid grade level index is about 17.12. So that's what the indices show. 0.2. So basically you need a higher education to be able to read this and understand this completely. And that's why when you're given this inside of school, you're still reading it. You're reading that a lot. You're having to understand it, and it's really, really tough. Alright. Just understand that you're going to be given the formulas, and you'll be given this information, so you don't have to actually count it. So I don't want anyone thinking inside of my class you're going to have to read something and go, we hold these truths to be self-evidence and all that, and count at the same time. That's really tough for me anyway. Alright, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys later.